Bedwars Item Rotation is probably one of Hypixel's most controversial updates of all time. At first, people thought that Bedwars was a lost hope, but then that slowly shifted over to, this update is going to save Bedwars, or finally I can make content because every other idea is used. But how did that happen? Will Hypixel Bedwars come back to its prime? This video is going to be split into 3 parts. The history, the effect, and also the best items from this update, which was voted on by you. The history. Late 2021 and early 2022, Bedwars' population was slowly dropping, as less people were getting sick from COVID, which meant more people were going outside. It was ending the huge numbers it once had. Otherwise, many YouTubers went to 1.19, which was followed by players because YouTubers have a huge influence on a lot of people. This was due to the lack of new content. Hypixel has mainly focused on Skyblock and also partially World Wars. With all these events happening at once, the entire Hypixel community was panicking because they didn't know what Bedwars had left. It was going to die, or was it? Hypixel had to do something. The one thing left to save Bedwars was an update. Hypixel decided to stay quiet about it, but there was one coming, and I predicted it on a video. Now, you're probably wondering, weren't there a lot of updates? Yes, there were multiple updates during that time, but they were only small ones, such as bringing maps or bug fixes. You probably aren't surprised. But Hypixel noticed and didn't want to see their game die, because it was one of their most successful games. A good example of their successful games dying is Skywars, which was thriving, but they didn't receive a big update for years until recently, though eventually they asked for feedback on what they could help bring back the player base. On December 7th, 2022, they released an old feature known as Item Rotation. Many may not know this has been added before because this was early 2019, but it was and got removed eventually. Every Wednesday, there would be an item rotation that would be added to the shop for a week. It would be 1 or 2 items, which doesn't seem like much, but it really is. Think about it, new content equals new players. The effect. Probably the biggest reason for Hypixel's numbers is content creation, such as YouTube or Twitch. Item rotation brought new content to the game weekly, which of course meant there would be more videos or streams weekly. This brought back content creators and also a bunch of players. For the last 5 years on YouTube, when you search up Hypixel Bedwars, you see a huge downward slope, but then a spike, which was the time rotating items got added. Pretty neat, right? Well, Hypixel also mentioned in the update that this was a quick and easy way to improve Bedwars, and there would be much more coming early this year. If you want to be notified immediately when the new Bedwars update comes out later this year, then please subscribe and like this video. It would actually help me so much. But anyways, let's get back to the video. The top items. The last part of this video is the best rotational items so far. If you made it this far, comment your favorite item. But coming in 3rd place, 2 items, the Final Revive Beacon and Time Warp Pearls. This is an actual shocker for me because I was never really a fan of them adding Dream Game Mode items because they aren't original and turn Bedwars into Dream, which, trust me, you don't want that to happen. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, it's Time Warp Pearls, which are in Lucky Blocks. But the other item they added revived any teammate that was completely out of the game for 16 emeralds. I feel like this was a little bit unfair, but for 16 emeralds, I don't really mind because that is a lot of emeralds. Next, 2nd place was actually a tie again. This was between Festivity Mines and Ice Bridges. Before making this poll, I straight up thought Festivity Mines were gonna win because of the skill it introduced and clips people could get from these. But also, Ice Bridges is a really good item because for the people that hate bridging, it actually gives them a chance. For those that have been living under a rock, the Festivity Mine is a pressure plate that explodes if somebody is within a proximity. It can be really good if you hide it properly. The Ice Bridge builds a 30-block pathway in front of you that when using it, that disappears. These two definitely deserve their spot at 2nd place. Now, for 1st place, Sugarkins. Now the reasoning for this, which I assume, is because it brought a new skill to the game and was also just extremely hyped, because it being the first item added. It was a projectile that you could throw, pretty similar to a bow but cheaper and it doesn't curve. Now, for my personal favorite, which was not on this list but I wanted to add it, the Sugar Cookie. Potions are a great way to clutch games. And for only 1 emerald, you could get a sugar cookie that has 15 seconds with extra jump and speed than the normal jump and speed pots. Pretty much the perfect time to break someone's bed or kill a final. I'm pretty shocked that it isn't the top 3, but oh well. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, then smash that like button. I also just recently added memberships, so if you want to support the channel and help me create better and bigger videos, it would help me out so much. Anyway, see you later. Peace!